Good afternoon, good evening. Buenas tardes. We are live, so let's see what has been happening. Let's see who is all online. There's lots of people online already. DJ Singy's online. Let's get some comments up straight away. Evening all says Ewan Boy. Hail, hail troops, says Patrick. Let's get to work, says William. And then Johnny Boy again, hail, hail. So I'm quickly going to have a... Where do we start? It looks like Burnley are getting ready to enter the race for Kyogo, along with Tottenham Hotspur for Kyogo Furiashi. The transfer window hasn't opened yet. We've got another week before it opens, another 5 days before the transfer window does open. It does look like we are going to get some kind of offer for some of our players. And the bootroom.com are also saying now that it's looking like Tottenham are going to come in for Carter Vickers. So there's quite a few publications now talking about that. What do you think of that? It's evening everybody. I think the fact that there's no way are Celtic going to sell 3 players. Absolutely no way. Hi, hail from Belfast. Hail from Saudi Arabia. Let's see if we can get further afield than Saudi Arabia on the channel. Yeah, so the big news tonight is the fact that Kyogo looks to be part of a ongoing saga that's going to go on this. See, the only thing that I've got that concerns me about it, hail from Tenerife. The only thing that Abu Dhabi, geez, go on yourself, Kev. The only thing that I've got about it is that Postecoglou likes to get his transfer dealings done quick. So why has he not made any moves for any of the Celtic players so far? And don't give me this, I suppose the players and that are on holiday. The way that he works, he likes to get his deals done early. We're coming into July in a week's time, and he's not signed anyone for Tottenham. And I don't know. Let's see what else is saying. Let's get some comments up. Yeah, no chance. And just two-faced want to take any players away. I think the way that it's transpiring, people are going to have their own opinions on Mr. Postecoglou. We're not even going to call him Ange anymore. The fact that his agent was in the background, and he knew months ago that he was leaving. Russia, Steve. There's no chance you're in Russia, Stephen. Not a chance. Ange can get lost. Says okay, and hail. You Tony from Glasgow, who's at work as well, working on a Sunday. Well, I used to hate these shifts. They were an absolute nightmare. Let's just take on that. Hail from Marmaris. There you go. Eddie Reid. Get that one up. I am trying to keep an eye on the two. Wouldn't be surprised if Ange has his eyes on Jota, unfortunately. I don't know. I honestly can't see Celtic shipping out 3 first-team players. I might be total, but I can't see it. We don't need the money. For starters, we don't need the money, and we're looking forward to going into the Champions League. We're adding a couple of players on. And when you look at the way that Brendan's been talking, he doesn't really want to lose players either. We are going to lose the squad players. You know the type of players that we are looking to try and get. Is it lazy journalism? Hail, boys. That's the only signings we made. Yeah, that's exactly Sean. Hail from Dad's house. It was James that said that one. Let's Let's talk only about signings we make. Hail. There is a lot of speculation going on, and it is one of those things. How many players will come in? What are the type of players? Look, our backroom staff. We've got the same backroom staff as we had last season. They'll know what they were looking to improve on. I know it's the same team that's there. Unhide a comment. Unhide what comment? It is the same team that's there, so they'll know the strengths and weaknesses of the squad, and they'll know what their strengths and weaknesses were going into this season. They also know the type of players that might get some kind of offers coming for them, but the fact that we usually are quite averse in getting players in before they actually get sold. So it's going to be the way this player. It's going to be a long window. It is going to be a long window. it's going to take forever to get through till it shuts at the end of August. Again, Burnley couldn't afford Kyogo. Spurs could. Carter Vickers possible. Because he was allowed. Yeah, was Ange then thinking that is get him for that operation so that because Ange knew that it was every chance that he might come back for him and take him back to. I'm just hoping that there isn't one of these crazy clauses. And I know that we've tried to put them in a couple of times that where they get a buyback option, and the buyback option is usually run about the same money that we spent or we sold them for. Kyogo's going to do for Burnley nothing, bro. Hail. Baz, the best. Thanks very much for that, Corey. It was funny because actually somebody asked about the Celtic News channel, and the guy that runs that also runs RFC News and LFC News. So if you want to go and check out his other channels, you'll see it is the exact same guy running 3 channels. Fair play to him. He's making his living off of YouTube. So anyway, but when you're wanting somebody that's actually a Celtic supporter doing your news, you know where to come for that. I can see Brendan making 3 signings over 8 million per player. Yep, Ewan, that's exactly the type of thing I think is going to happen. I think gone are the days that when Brendan was here the last time that we wouldn't spend money. I think those days are gone, and that's what's made sure I think that was insurances that Brendan got, and let's just hope it's a cracking season. There's no buyback option for Carter Vickers, says Robert Lindsay. Well, let's hope there isn't, because if there is, we'll actually be devastated. Would he go back though? He'd been there a long time. You know, he'd been at Spurs a long time. Would he go back? Would Carter Vickers go back? They're not in the Champions League. I think what's going to keep a lot of players' minds this season is the fact that we are in the Champions League. They're going straight into the Champions League. They want to play at that highest level. It's okay saying, right, we can go down to England and Spurs might get into the Champions League. There's no guarantee of it. Will Postecoglou's style get found out down south? It was definitely found out in Europe. And last season for us, and will he get found out down south? I only see 2 going from the first team pool, Abada and Turnbull. I don't think Turnbull will go. I think he's too much of a squad player, and we need to keep as many homegrown talent as possible for the new UEFA thing. Abada, you could see him going out the door, but he has said that he loves his life on social media yesterday. So let's see if I can get any other breaking news. If there's anything else, and it's all Burnley. Burnley reported to rival Tottenham. Celtic are flexing their City group connections. 11 Celtic transfer priorities. 2 key roles. There's nothing. It's just there's a lot of just chit chat today. That's a Sunday. There's not a lot of information going about, and there's not a lot of news really going about that's newsworthy. You get a lot of channels that will just put stuff out just for the sake of it. Barry, I think he'll be coming in. So my house scared looking on your life elsewhere. Sean, you can. I've got another channel where you can look at that. I'm not going to tell you that on this channel. Right, let's move on because it's a channel with me and my missus, and that's the last thing we need is a load of Seth Conan. Well, one Seth Conan did find it actually, and it was quite funny. It was quickly blocked. Why not make an eye-opening bid for somebody to make a proper statement? I think that's what we need to do. But you know what we're like? We got people in early before because they weren't buying them in the European market. We can only go when the European market opens, really. And we can make offers and stuff. But Vatters in summer to be included in the homegrown players. Yes, they will be. And I think it's an exciting season for those 2 young guys. I mean, they were in the squad. Here's hope, you know, that Brendan did bring in a lot of young players through his time. He likes the fact that we do have this young squad. I can't wait to see these 2 being a bigger part of the team next season. I think it was good to get them bled into the team this year. I'd be gutted if Kyogo goes for 16 million. I think that's the opening. It's going to be way over that. I think if there's a club's going to come in and start bidding, Celtic should play them off each other. It's as simple as that. We do have 246 people live. I don't know how many thumbs up we have. I can't see that yet. But make sure you give it a thumbs up if you can. And get your comments in. CCV was ridiculed at Spurs. It was that, and he was pumped out left, right, and centre, and no club really fancied him. He's came to Celtic, and he's found a club that actually he likes working with. CC will not leave us for Spurs. Hail, hail. Well, to be fair, I said that Ange Postecoglou wouldn't leave and go to Spurs, and he did. And there's a lot of people had egg on their face, but Ange Postecoglou was offered the exact same deal that Brendan's been offered, and he decided a long time before. And I think what's now coming out and being more apparent is the picture that was taken at the front doorstep of Celtic Park was our owner and his son looking up in disbelief that Ange hadn't signed the contract that day, had even though he was offered everything that he asked for, and he had set his sights on heading south. You could tell. Anyway, I don't want to talk about him. We're moving on. Northampton Town fan. If Kyogo goes for, I think that was Alan. Right, wait a minute, I'll try to get this one up. I think if Kyogo goes for 25 million, we can maybe think about it's 29 million in January. He's 29 in January. If he goes for 25 million, Celtic need to go out and spend big. But I mean, they're on about bringing this guy in for Australia. That's possibly a striker, but it's all speculation. It's all going to be a case of Celtic have to make their first move, like they did under Postecoglou. They have to make their first moves first in the transfer market, with the knowledge that there might be bids. They will know there's agents talking. They will know if there's bids coming in. You know, the phone doesn't just go, here comes the bid. The fax machine does not just roll out the fax. Do they still do it with fax machine these days, or is it all done by email? Back in the good old days where they sent faxes. We need a more physical team to advance in Europe, in my opinion, says San Fran Celtic. We do. We need a bit of height. It's no wonder that Brendan Rodgers is looking at bringing in a tall defender. Is that the case that he knows that Cameron Carter-Vickers might go? I would rather see him stay. We do need someone with a bit of height at the back. We need somebody with a bit of height in the midfield as well. And there's nothing wrong with having a big, tall striker. I would like to see us going back to playing two up front, but it's never going to happen. I think those days are done. Andrew's tapped up big time, and he knew he was off as far back as April. Yes, your boy, he was tapped up, and he was saying all the right things to let everybody think he was staying at Celtic. And I think that's the most disappointing thing. You know, it is the most disappointing thing. Big O will come good. Tilo is getting hyped up as the next best thing from Australia. We need to be careful. Daniel Arzani. Yeah, that's true. Where was that other one? The comments are coming in that fast. Did I get that one? Hail, Big O will come good for Brendan Rodgers. It's his type of player. I hope O does come good. He was settling in quite well towards the end of the season. He might manage to get a bit of game time. He is that kind of. He's a different type of striker from Kyogo, but we need a fast striker. We need a Kyogo. We really need a Kyogo on the team that can. When teams are sitting, and when they're sitting that back, and that's not going to change next season just because Brendan's here. They'll know exactly how Brendan played the last time he was here, and even though everyone's just saying the football was getting boring the last time he was here because it was passing from side to side. And, you know, it was getting the same with Postecoglou. Well, we're having to pass from side to side. But we need to get more mobile. What Postecoglou brought to the team is there was a bit more mobility. If you remember the first season that Ange was here, it was a breath of fresh air because even when the team was all pushed up and it was like the opposing team were sitting on their 18-yard box, players were still moving positions. You know, they weren't just standing waiting to get the ball. It's like they were moving about. That didn't happen as much towards the tail end of the season. I think that was something that maybe let slip a bit. Let's get back to the comments and get as many comments as we can. Frank says, if Kyogo goes for 20 million plus, that would be good business. And we need to replace him. Have faith. We do need to replace him. We need to go out and we spend really good money on a striker. Let's get more comments in. Michael, you're next up. I definitely think we need at least two big signings. I think we're going to be at least 2 or 3 big signings. I don't think there'll be a lot of signings come in. There's not wholesale changes needed. There wasn't wholesale changes needed last season. It was just a couple of players to come in and take us to that next level and hopefully do something in Europe. Brendan Rodgers will give us a cushion, give us the league to focus on. Europe, the Huns are running far too close for comfort. Are they? Are they really running too close for comfort? They've made a lot of changes. I've not even looked. I don't look at any of their media, so I just know that when I'm looking at the website that I look at for updates, you see obviously all speculation and everything, but I've never looked at any of the signings that they've brought in. They're bringing in a lot of free signings. You know, he'll know the way that Brendan will play. Brendan's a league above him. He's a manager that's never won anything. How many managers have they had that hasn't actually won anything, and what have they done over the last few years? So I'm not really worried about them, to be honest. Hopefully they'll come back, bite me on the bum, that one, but I'm not really worried about them. The first few players that we sign from now on are from the scouting team and probably won't be starters. Yeah, if the players that came in just now, the young boy from Norway, that's all from the scouting team, and Ange must have knew about them to a certain level. The scouting team has absolutely been doing fantastic. Brendan will know. He signed off the signings. Rob Holding for 8 million. No thanks. No, I wouldn't want him either. Bill's moaning about how skint they are. You're kidding on. He's not been doing media conferences during the closed season, moaning about they've no money. Surely, is he not on holiday? I'm. I don't get that at all. He's moaning about them no money, but they're signing players left, right, and centre for no money. Well, there we go. Kasper Schmeichel is available on a free. Would you take Kasper Schmeichel? That would be an interesting one. Obviously, his dad was a fantastic player. He did win the league with Leicester. It could be an upgrade. There's some Patricia, she's in. Like I know, like yourself, it is. Let's get to some more comments. I've been told Abada will be gone over the summer and there'll be surprises going and coming, but they'll need. Do you think there'll be surprises? Do you think there'll be surprises? I don't know. Anyway, let's get to some more of the comments. What he says. The more Ian Beale was a tool, Brendan knows he will scalp him. We definitely need a goalkeeper, says CFC. Yeah, we do. I think we do for the continuation. I think the keepers that we've got, I don't think they're Champions League ready. Well, obviously you've got Hart but the ones that we have in reserve, why we gave Bain a 3-year contract, it was obviously for the homegrown quota thing. But I think it was just that it was mad giving him a 3-year contract. Everyone thought he would be one person that was out the door this summer. And never mind, give the man a thumbs up. His channel is quality. Thanks for that, Neil 1980. Right, let's get Scott McKenna. Let's get some more comments in. Honestly, I can't see the Japanese boys being around come the end of the January window. I think they will. I think the Celtic have been opened up that market, and I don't think that they'll jump out of the market too much. I think that Brendan will love the fact that he's getting to see players, and he'll be getting offered players by the scouting team that are a bit far-fetched from faraway places than he's probably used to over the last couple of years, and especially down in South England, they tend to just focus on the European market. Plunge, take Kasper, the friendly ghost. Yes. Patrick, me too. Sigrist is a good keeper. He is a good keeper, but has he been tested at that highest level? We really need a keeper for the Champions League. We need a keeper for Europe. We need a keeper that we can really trust at that level and has the complete trust of the guys in front of him. I think Bain, for me, made far too many silly mistakes towards the end of the season. Siegrist disappeared. Siegrist disappears completely. Over 350 watching. Let's try and get over 100 likes, says Ewan Boy. Thanks for that, Ewan Boy. Let's get some more comments. Beale must have the money after spending £3.5 million on a striker that's only scored 4 to 6 goals in 4 years. What happened to Morelos? Where did he end up? Has he got another deal? Where is the fat man? Where's Mad Morelos? Anyway, I'm not gone. I'm holding until Schmeichel says yes. I wouldn't take Holden. No chance. Right, get the comments coming flying in. I'm going to see if there's any other good time sent to on target. Let me just see what this one says. I'm just checking out a news article that's just came out. That's about a Japanese one. A Korean side. That's a Korean player. It's all speculation yet, so there's no use even talking about it. I tend not to talk about too much speculation now because, you could do. I did videos last summer, and you can name about 20 players that were named. He's in Pizza Hut. And there's no use actually until there's something a bit more concrete comes through. Scott Howe says he's in Pizza Hut talking about the fat Colombian that was at Sevco. Whether Kyogo goes or sold, we need another striker, as is not good enough for Celtic, says Kevin. Can you tell that just for the game time that he had, Kevin? I think it does take that. You got to remember a player coming from the other side of the world and having the language barrier. You've got to remember a certain player's first game, and he passed the ball to a Hibs player, and then they went and scored. That guy was Henrik Larsson, and everyone said that day, Henrik Larsson, what an absolute dud he was, didn't he? He turned out really bad. So you never know. You've got to give players this time. We need another keeper, centre back, and striker as a minimum. Yeah, I think that's something that we all spoke about. If we get another keeper in, we have to let one of the keepers go. We're not going to have 4 keepers on the books. Not a chance. Not a chance. There has to be, and it all points to the Segrist would be the one that would go for me. The fact that Bain has just been given that extended contract. Hatate, to sound rude, what's the podcaster's name? It's Barry. Baz. It's on the thing. It says it, is it not? No, I need to stop putting the comments up. Banners, comments. Stop putting comments up. No, it doesn't have my name on it because the comments are covering it. He must be sharing a large pizza with Beale. We need another strong midfield player. We do. We need another. I think we do need a holding midfield player. I think we need a holding midfield player to let Callum McGregor go further forward. I mean, Callum runs the show. When you look at the way that Scott Brown used to play and the way that Scott Brown was making sure that everyone was in the right position and everything, I think Callum's grown into that role fantastically as a player, but he could do with being just a little bit further forward so that it dominates the play again. Do you know what I mean? And then having that holding midfielder, a Paul Lambert type player, a Neil Lennon type player to just sit just behind him so that he's that little bit further forward. But who do you lose out of the team for it? Let's get to the messages. Lovett says, press just pulling transfer news from fresh air. No truth behind most of the stories. This is true. It's all just about to get newspaper sales. Do people still buy newspapers or they click online? I noticed that the Glasgow paper is now going to paid monthly. Brendan will sign a new spine of the team, goalkeeper, centre half. Will he sign the spine of a team? I think if Moy goes, yeah. Will Moy go? I don't think Moy will. I think Moy will stay. I mean, there's obviously been speculation that he might hang up his boots. That is only on the international scene. It'd be absolutely crazy to turn around to Celtic and say, look, I'm going to retire. I've got a year's left of his contract. Play that year out, play that year out, take the money. He's still a great asset for us to have. And then nobody's going to get chucked out the door or pushed out the door by Brendan Rodgers, that's for sure. We need physicality in the team. We were pushed off the ball at times, especially in Europe. We wear that, and you're actually even seeing it in the league. How many times do centre-backs off the ball run into Kyogo? And Kyogo starts turning around and starts to make a run, and then they give it the old shoulder charge into him. And he's like Big Odin, like Thor. I hope he's like Thor with the name Odin. And now he starts throwing his hammer about. Brendan brings freshness to our squad. He does that. And I think it was probably 2 years for Postecoglou was probably just about enough and just about right. And the fact that he knows that, it was, when you look back at the history of the teams that he's been at, he's only been there 2 or 3 years. So he was always using us as a stepping stone to get into the English Premier League. That is for sure. And that's Thor, the hammer thrower. Well, let's hope he is. Let's hope that Thor is the big hammer thrower, as long as he brings the hammer. My wife is a good goalkeeper. Oh dear. Rodgers, the fan media, said he wants power in the team. Yeah, he does want power in the team. That was Brendan Rodgers' team at Celtic the last time. Do you know, it was big, powerful players. We need that again. We need a little bit of height. We need height and we need the pace. We need a powerful team and we need pace. We need pace for the Champions League because let's face it, we need pace for Europe. I mean, because teams are going to sit back next season. There's only going to be a couple of teams that will come out and try and attack us. The rest of them are just going to sit back, and it's as you were in the league. Scott Howe, I blocked the jail earlier. Wouldn't listen to the shite they spout anymore. Literally just sit and make things up. It must be hard being a journalist. It must be hard being a journalist for the mainstream media. Well, it's not really, because it's just about, if they get a snippet of something, especially, the Hun ones, they're just hurting. You can see the donkeys down the beach. Really? Nah. The beach is 5 minutes away. There's no donkeys on the beach here. Anyway, Barkas is gone. Talking about, I think we'll concentrate more on defence and goalkeeper. Yeah, I still think we'll keep Hart as the main goalkeeper for next season, but we really need to be looking at the goalkeeper as a long-term thing. Left back in the showers, a bag for life. Bag for life. The comments are getting absolutely crazy. Right, let's see what else. How long we've been on? We have been on 25 minutes. We've got 5 minutes left. A bag for life. Paisley Express. Aye. Yeah, the Paisley Express. That is just the Scottish, basically, media. Mikey Johnston playing excellent just now. How come we can't leave Jota? I think Mickey Johnston's excited to come back. He's a Celtic fan. I think it was fantastic for him to get over to Portugal, get away from the Scottish media, build his fitness up. And I know that he didn't play every game all season for them, but coming back, I think it'll be fantastic for him. Who do you think would be a good goalie for us? It's not a case of who will be a good goalie for us. We spent $4.5 million on a goalkeeper that played fantastic against us in Europe. And when he got to us, he was absolute just crap. It's about the mentality. I think what was good for Ange is he phoned players and he spoke to players like Brendan does before you sign them. It's that mentality. You need the mentality to be able to sit and play at Celtic. And for 80% of the game, especially domestically, you're sitting with your pipe and slippers, and then when you're in Europe, you're basically thrown under the cosh, as it was. So do you think Brendan can make a player out of Bernabe? I think Bernabe could become a good player for us. He's been unfortunate in the position he's in, where Greg Taylor has just played out his skin. And Greg Taylor completely turned his Celtic career around 2 years ago. There was a lot of people saying that Taylor should be chased out the door. He wasn't good enough. There's another Scottish player that people were saying wasn't good enough. But, you look at Greg Taylor now, he's one of the first shouts for the team. From Ireland Hill. Let's get the comments. We shouldn't use performances against us. Measure sticks for looking for players. Yeah, this is true. And it was just the fact that I don't think we really looked at the performance. I think he must have played good for us to go and get him and spend $4.5 million. We've never spent $4.5 million for a keeper. Buffon. Let's get Buffon in for his swung song. Done that a few times. Mikey Johnston's come back. He's sent away. Never got game time under Rodgers. He was still really, really young. He was still only about 17, 18, 18, 19 or something when he came to Celtic. So, I heard Jota interest Ajax. I don't know. I've never heard that one. I've never seen that one written. So I don't know where you're getting that one from. So the keeper situation means that the man questions was viable. So who would be good for us? Who would be good for us? The keepers that are out there. It's about the money that we're going to spend. We're not going to spend 10 million on a decent keeper. If you want a really good keeper, you're going to have to spend 10 million, and we're just not going to spend that at all. Don't mind Turnbull, don't mind if he leaves. Never saw him play well against the Rangers. I think just being a squad player is one of the things that will keep him here. Goalkeeper, Irish boy for Liverpool. It's funny money again. It's big money, and Liverpool will want big money for him. I'd love to see him here, but he's never had a great Jota on the ching. Did you see that picture of Jota? Oh dear, oh man, he's given us some entertainment. Let's see if we fringe players to Aberdeen all seem to work out well for us. Yeah, I think Liam Scales will probably come back to Celtic. I think he'll be one player that will probably go out the door, and I think Aberdeen will get him for a good bit of business. Right, that's 29 minutes. We've got just 50 seconds to go. I'm only doing half an hour because I don't get paid for this. Let's face it. Fraser Foster available. Would you take Fraser Foster back? I wouldn't. Not after the chance he had to stay at Celtic, and he decided to leave as well. So no, I wouldn't take Fraser Foster back, to be honest. Ben Siegrist should be given first shot. Right, let's get the last one in. Ben Siegrist should be given a shot. He should be given a shot, and he should have been given a shot before Scott Bain. And it still totally astounds me why we kept Scott Bain. So on that note, we should sign Morelos and stick him in goals. Good effort, join the crack, says Sean. Right, hope you enjoy your Sundays. Make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Hail, Barry, says Colin. And then there's a bit of a slow news day. I'll do one quick last check and see if I'll do an update on this site. And no, there's nothing. It's just the same crap that has been about all day. So on that note, have a great day, Celtic fans all around the world.
Lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to